Greetings, my name is Jim Copple and I'm with SAI Servant Forge. Welcome to this virtual tour. This is the first time I've ever recorded anything for a virtual tour, and I want to welcome you. We're excited about your support and your participation in the activities and projects that we're doing in Kenya around Servant Forge. Since we're approaching Easter and Good Friday, I am reminded of the words of Jesus on the cross when he said, my, God, why hast thou forsaken me?" Why has become one of the more illegitimate questions that we ever ask. In fact, Jesus only asked that question once, and that was when he was on the cross. However, I'm struck by the fact that when he asked that question, why hast thou forsaken me? His next words were, Father, I commit. And in my journey and my work in Kenya since the year 2008, when I first arrived during the post-election violence that killed over 1,300 people in Kenya, we began work with African Nazarene University on a project on youth unemployment. By 2010 and 2011, Kenya was facing one of the worst droughts in its history, and working in collaboration with Nazarene Compassionate Ministries, we launched a campaign and really surveyed our pastors as to what their greatest needs were. There were a lot of unaccompanied minors being left or abandoned by their families because they would take the older children to forage for food and leave the younger children in a village or a community in the hope that churches might respond and take care of the younger children. And so we began to work that drought. We raised close to $1 million from the church to support our efforts to provide set-up food storage. At the same time, we met with UNICEF, and we had a conversation with UNICEF about what their needs were around gender-based violence, because we also discovered not only were children being abandoned, but women were being abused during the drought. UNICEF came back to us after a visit to the Dadaab refugee camp and said, we really would like you to be closer to the Kakuma refugee camp in western Kenya. And we want to set up a kind of a one-stop shopping center for women who have been abused, whether it be legal services, health services, counseling, job training, a whole range of services to respond to women who are in an abusive relationship. We did that. With the help of Carla Sundberg and several others, we raised close to $400,000 to build the wing of a hospital. And we built the Wings of Hope Center. Many of you are participating in this virtual tour. We're key supporters of the center that we built. The Wings of Hope Center would be a counseling center, a meeting center. Today it is used by women who are doing a sewing business, repairing clothes, making masks during the COVID pandemic, and a number of other things. But it's a place where women can gather and actually talk. And in those conversations, it's revealed quite often that they come out of abusive relationships, and the other women in those conversations can offer support and help. I think one of the reasons I keep going back to Africa is based on a conversation I had with a woman in Swaziland, now Eswatini. The second trip I made to Eswatini, this woman who ran this home care HIV/AIDS support group looked at me and she simply said, "You came back." And that was probably the best compliment or the greatest affirmation I ever received on what it was to be working in Kenya, is you came back. Well, I can't tell you how many trips I've made to Africa since 2008, on average 3 or 4 trips a year. But I've spent a lot of time in Africa. And the thing that is gratifying to me, or the most gratifying part of my work, is the relationships and the encounters that I've had with people that we serve. And they not only say you came back, but they work alongside you. This isn't a matter of us raising money to give a handout. It's generating resources to facilitate a plan or an action step that involves the people that we're working with. They're the ones who work our farm in Lodwar. They're the ones who have ideas about how to protect the crops. They are the ones who have generated a lot of thinking about how to market our crops. Many of you participating in this virtual tour have raised money to build shed nets, greenhouses, watering systems, planting trees, all things that have made our farm in Lodwar a significant success and having a tremendous impact on the women particularly who work that farm and who are now able to buy school clothing for their children so they can go to school, pay university fees. It's amazing to have watched the transformation coming out of a drought in 2011 to now a farm that is supporting hundreds of women in this enterprise. And it's because we collaborated. I hope you take advantage of observing every part of the ministry and work, from the children's work that we're doing in collaboration with the New Center to the Farm Agricultural Project, which is providing sustainable income for the women who work on that farm and generate produce for the broader community, to the gender-based violence work that we do with our SEMA project, where we are really focused on giving liberating messages to women that they are equal partners in this journey of recovery and of support around abuse. I thank you for participating in this. We're very excited about what's going on in Kenya, and I am reminded that for me personally, the reason I go and continue to go is found in 1 Peter 3:14 and 15. But sanctify Christ as Lord, and be ready always to give an answer to every man who asketh you the reason for the hope that is in you. I want to be ready to give that answer. I want to live in such a way that I can create the question, why do you do what you do? Christ is Lord. Be ready always to give an answer. I want to do justice. I want to love mercy. And I want to walk humbly with our God. That's what this tour is about. Is coming alongside people who are doing justice, loving mercy, and walking humbly with their God. This is Jim Copple with SAI Servant Forge. Thank you for your time.